This is the TNA Bound for Glory 2024 full show results video, which takes place at Wayne State University Fieldhouse in Detroit, Michigan. The show started with a match between Ash by Elegance and Heather, Reckless, by Elegance versus Zaya Brookside and Brinley Reese. Reese comes from NXT and Ash's personal concierge distracted Reese while perched on the turnbuckles. Brookside chased the concierge around the ring and choked him with his own jacket. Meanwhile, the Elegant double-teamed Reese. In the end, Heather hit a Spanish fly, and Ash followed for a swanton to defeat Zaya Brookside and Brinley Reese by pinfall. Then Eric Young and Duck's company co-founder, former pro wrestling journalist and online wrestling community pioneer, Bob Ryder, into the TNA Hall of Fame. Then pro wrestling veteran and Detroit native Rhino is inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame by Tommy Dreamer. Then we saw the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, and the winner will receive a championship match of their choosing, any place, anytime. Frankie Kazarian and Zachary Wentz kick things off. Jake Something is entrant at number 3 and Wentz gets some backup as Trey Miguel enters at 4. Hammerstone is next at 5, Rohit Raju makes his TNA return at 6 and Laredo Kid is entrant at 7. Hammerstone eliminates Laredo Kid, followed by Trey Miguel and Sami Callihan is 8th. Hammerstone is eliminated and Callihan spikes Raju with the Cactus Driver 97. John Schuyler is entrant at 9, Bhupinder Gujjar is 10, Trent Seven returns at 11 and KC Navarro is next at 12 and wastes no time making an enemy out of Callihan. TNA Hall of Famer Rhino is in at 13, eliminating Raju, Schuyler and Callihan. Tasha Steeles is at 14th as she hits Navarro with a cutter. Laying Lee is 15 and Steeles is eliminated. Jason Hotch is entrant 16th and wins blindsides Navarro with a dropkick for the elimination. 17th entrant was Leon Slater, Jonathan Gresham is 18th, Laying Lee is eliminated and JDC is entrant at 19th, Slater hits something with a swanton 450 but JDC picks up the pieces to eliminate Slater. 7 takes out JDC with the 7-star lariat and the final entrant at 20th is AJ Francis. Gresham is eliminated by Francis following a big boot and Francis hits 7 with the down payment for the elimination. Hotch is eliminated and Wentz eliminates Something with a modified Death Valley driver. Something gets involved from the outside, allowing Francis to eliminate Wentz. Rhino gores Kazarian and Rhino eliminates JDC. Francis delivers his own gore to Rhino but Rhino turns it around for the elimination. Rhino and Kazarian are the final 2, this match will now end by pinfall or submission. In the end, Kazarian tosses the referee to the side, then low blows Rhino to score the victory and his prize is calling his shot at any TNA title at any time. The next match happened between Speedball Mike Bailey versus Hijo del Vikingo for the X Division Championship. Speedball had the first serious near fall with a Fisherman Falcon Arrow followed by a Shooting Star Press. Later, Vikingo rallied for a Flying Destroyer on the apron. When Vikingo climbed the corner for a finishing dive, Bailey closed the distance to tussle for position on the turnbuckles. In the end, Bailey got the upper hand to execute a flipping Fisherman Slam to defeat Hijo del Vikingo by pinfall to retain the X Division Championship. The next match happened between Jody Threat and Danny Luna versus Rosemary and Wendy Chu for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Chu came over from NXT through the Undead Realm. Rosemary could have won with a spear to Luna, but the Demon Assassin chose to break her own pin to inflict more pain. The challengers had control, then Rosemary accidentally collided with Chu. Threat steamrolled them for double knees and a double German suplex. In the end, tag to Luna for the Teamwork Pressure Drop Powerbomb to win the match and retain the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Post-match, Rosemary speared Chu and shocked the crowd. The next match happened between Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. Alexander's goons were not in the venue, and Eric Young promised to watch Macklin's back just in case. However, it was hardly a fair fight. When Alexander inadvertently swung Macklin's legs into knocking down the referee, he took advantage to kick Mr. Mayhem in the groin. Alexander then zip-tied Macklin's hands behind his back and Macklin still managed to fight back without the use of his hands. As Alexander gloated in the corner, Macklin knocked him down into the Tree of Woe and struck with a spear and Macklin followed for a suicide dive on the outside and running knee strikes on the inside. The referee tried to cut Macklin free, but he refused to slow down and Macklin didn't want to spoil his hot momentum. Alexander corralled Macklin for a tombstone piledriver. Kick out by Macklin, German suplex by Alexander. Macklin popped to his feet for a headbutt and Alexander was on the mat and wisely snatched Macklin's leg for an ankle lock. In the end, Macklin couldn't defend against the takedown, and he passed out from the pain on the submission, and Josh Alexander won the match. The next match happened between PCO versus Matt Cardona in Monsters Ball for the TNA Digital Media Championship and International Wrestling Championship. PCO and Matt Cardona are unleashed in Monsters Ball for both the Digital Media and International Heavyweight Wrestling Championships. It doesn't take long before PCO is assaulting Cardona with a trash can, and Cardona gains momentum by dumping him backfirst onto the steel steps. Back in the ring, PCO is back in control after sending him crashing through a door, and PCO dives through the ropes, but Cardona cuts him off in midair with a trash can. Cardona powerbombs PCO through another door, propped up by multiple steel chairs. Cardona pours thumbtacks into PCO's mouth, but PCO won't stay down, then connects with radio silence for 2. Cardona goes low, then uses a baseball bat wrapped in green barbed wire. In the end, PCO bounces back, choke slamming him into a pile of thumbtacks, followed by the PCO salt to retain both the Digital Media and International Heavyweight Wrestling Championships. The next match happened between Mike Santana versus Moose. Johnny Dango Curtis was ringside to support Moose. A powerbomb on the apron did major damage to Santana. He barely beat the 10 count back into the ring, and the system wanted to hurt Santana, so Dango entered the ring with a steel chain. Santana dodged the loaded punch. Dango stopped short of clobbering Moose, then Santana cleaned Dango's clock with a discus lariat. Moose exploded for a spear in a bang-bang sequence, and Santana kicked out on the cover. They tussled a little bit and Moose hit a big boot. In the end, when Moose ran the ropes, Santana connected on the discus lariat out of desperation to win the match. The next match happened between Masha Slamovich versus Jordan Grace for the Knockouts Championship. Masha Slamovich challenges Jordan Grace for the Knockouts World Championship in the first of 3 main events tonight. Slamovich dives through the ropes, dropping Grace on the outside. Moments later, Grace turns the tide with a foot stomp on the apron. In the ring, Slamovich hits a spinning heel kick for 2. Slamovich locks in a choke, but Grace transitions into a jackhammer for a 2 count of her own. Grace hits the Vader bomb out of the corner, but Slamovich rolls out of the way, and Slamovich picks Grace off the top with a pair of head scissors, then hits the snowplow for another near fall. Grace pulls out the Kryptonite Crunch, shades of Jerry Lynn. Slamovich bounces back with a burning hammer, but Grace bridges out before the referee's 3 count. Slamovich kicks out of the Juggernaut driver from Grace, leading to a stretch muffler submission. In the end, Slamovich hits a snowplow off the top rope, followed by a piledriver to win. Masha Slamovich is the new Knockouts World Champion. The next match happened between Nick Namath versus Joe Hendry for the TNA World Championship. Frankie Kazarian was the special guest referee, and he had the Call Your Shot prize at his disposal. Kazarian called it clean until both men were down, and he decided to cash in. JBL came through the crowd to blast Kazarian with a clothesline from hell before the cash-in could be honored. JBL whispered to Hendry, and it seemed like he just wanted to keep it a clean fight. JBL clotheslined Hendry to hell. Namath didn't see any of this. Hendry had a dramatic kick out on the Danger Zone finisher when the backup referee arrived. Hendry teased his standing ovation finisher, but Namath escaped to connect on a super kick and hit another Danger Zone to win the match and retain the TNA World Championship. In the main event of the show, we saw Full Metal Mayhem match between Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy versus Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards versus Ace Austin and Chris Bay for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. The system entered as champions and bodies fell by the wayside for the finish. Bay reached the titles and hung on the gimmick, and Edwards swung him into a flying spear from Myers. Matt got revenge on Edwards for a twist of fate with a chair around his neck, and Jeff hit 2 twists of fates on a swanton off a tall ladder to Myers through a table. As Ace was climbing, Alicia Edwards ran in to shove the ladder over, and Matt got revenge again for a twist of fate to Alicia. Edwards clobbered Matt with a kendo stick and climbed the ladder, and the Hardys threw chairs at him, then executed a double powerbomb over the ropes through tables. The coast was clear for the Hardys to reach the titles and become the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. The show closed in celebratory mood for the success of the Hardys.